He walked past us. Well, that's nice cars. Well, or whatever. Carried on. And that's like, shit, he had ginger hair. I think that was Chris Evans. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. It's episode 57 of the Evo podcast. We're back with Harry Metcalfe, and I've got John Barker with me as well. This is a slightly shorter and sweeter podcast. We've got a Q&A special here. So we asked you guys if you had any particular questions for Harry. So there are quite a few here, actually, H. There is an enduring fascination with the start of Evo, which is, God almighty, 28 years ago this year, I think.
It's just nuts,
which is ridiculous. So I had one question from Ali saying, if you could do anything different in the early days of Evo, what would it be and why? And on the similar theme, we had another question from David saying, any cool, interesting anecdotes from the time of founding Evo?
Yeah.
So
I still look back at that period and think that was magic, actually. That was just fantastic. And would you do anything different? When I look back and saw how we got the team, how we all worked together, and how we got that first issue out, I'm mighty proud of that first issue. Have you been back and read it? And
I do. Occasionally I do, but I think I remember so much of that issue. Like it's probably the issue I can remember. I could almost go through every feature and where we went to drive the cars, how we got them, who we got them through. I do remember the one sort of lesson when you launch something is you think the first issue's hard, and then it's like, oh shit, second. We've got to do another one in 4 weeks, and then another one in 4 weeks after that. It suddenly hits you what you've
the conveyor
started
belt from there. But if we're talking about the launch of Evo, just how we got that magazine out so
I don't think you could. I don't think A, you couldn't do it now, and B, I don't think you could have done it any more effectively and spontaneously, and with the tiny, we were totally free, weren't we?
Yeah,
we had no
tiny
fears really.
There was no budget.
So I think the easy answer is I have absolutely no regrets over that. There's nothing I would have done differently.
No, there's never. If only we'd done that with the launching it. Absolutely not.
I'd have liked to use slightly bigger typeface on the cover. I don't think we shouted enough on the cover what we got, but it's. But
that created. Everyone else was shouting, and we were, and it's still. Whenever I meet anyone now, they will, and they were a reader of early issues. They would always say, "Oh, it stood out so much because you had so much more space, and it was a bit."
It was an
more
extraordinary
reserved,
period.
wasn't it?
I think the only thing I battled with is actually the finance. I thought the banks would be super friendly. I had a good relationship with banks, and as soon as you mentioned them, you were launching a car magazine. They said, "Just stop now! No, don't!" And that was the surprise. But the innocence actually got us through it.
That's because 3 issues in, most of these new magazines fold.
28 years ago, print was dying. Apparently, Harry.
I know. No one told us, did they? And then it took off. And we had the other bit, fun memories. We had 0 marketing budget. Literally, we hadn't put any money aside to do marketing.
Well, EMAP did quite a bit of it for us, didn't they? Yeah. Because there was this weird groundswell of sort of anger almost, wasn't there, that they'd pulled performance car out from under us. So there was this simmering, I think they're doing something, there's something coming, but it was very, you wouldn't bet your business on that marketing strategy, would you?
But EMAP, Future, Haymarket, they all said it was doomed to failure, because if you said at the board level, we've got some farmer is going to launch a car magazine. They thought it was an utter nonsense, and they thought there's not even just move on. Yeah, it's on the agenda.
A self-funded, independently published.
It's going to take on
magazine
and Haymarket. That isn't going to work.
2 things.
Yeah.
The first one was that we, at the very late stage, we decided to swap the cover story out. It was going to be a group of cars that represented what Evo was going to be all about. Yeah. And we got the invite to the Maserati launch, so we decided to put that on to look grown up. Look, we've
it was pros and cons to that, wasn't it? I think it was a conscious decision we needed to present ourselves as an equal to the incumbent titles.
And the other, I don't know if you remember, Harry, I'm sure you do, but there was somebody had registered the name before we had.
Yes, we had that.
Which was an interesting moment.
That was a very interesting moment.
It was a bit of a code brown, wasn't it? I think
it was. It was almost going to press when my solicitor alerted me. I had registered the name as well, but someone had registered the name about 2 weeks before me. 3 months previously, I suppose 3-4 months, and I had to go to what is termed council to decide whether we continued and actually distributed the magazine. I don't think I could have stopped the press because I had to, those early issues I had to pay up front before the presses would run.
Yep.
And I think we'd gone past that stage, and there was this mad period, do we actually put it on sale? And council, I had to talk to you guys, had to record it, it was then transcribed. Council then looked at all the evidence.
We had faxes as well, didn't we, with dates, and it had Evo Publications or something on the top with obviously a date and a time, and that kind of proved that we'd been working on it for a period, didn't it?
But the council, all he wanted to, this guy is thousands per hour to talk to.
Was he gassing about cars?
And I walked in, and all he wanted to talk about was his 911.
Yeah.
And I said, look, I really need an answer. This is critical of the success. The printer is running. What are we doing? Can I say, oh, Harry, sorry. Yeah, don't worry about it. He says, I said, what do you mean?
Great, can we stop the meter now?
Yeah, I know. He says, you've worked on it. What are the chances of the people who had registered the name coming out with the magazine before you do? I said, well, we go on sale on Wednesday. We know there is no activity at the other company. Yeah. They're not working on it. They just happen to register the name. He says, well, that's fine. So you're going to register the president. You will own Evo space on the newsstand. They will then contest it. But you can continue with Evo magazine because you've got 6 months to continue before you have to reply to their protest. They can't take you down immediately.
It's just
so by which time
fight no one's going to really want to take on, isn't it?
Establish the brand, and then you could sue them for taking their goodwill. If you have good sales and they sell, then you say, well, you only got that sales because of our goodwill. So anyway, it's fine. Now,
so it could have ended before it began, couldn't it?
Yeah. But it didn't. No, and I think I had a bill for about £24,000
for that council,
for that whole legal.
Did you strike half of it off because it was about the 911?
No,
that's when 24 grand was 24 grand.
That was beyond council because I had to have a solicitor team on my side that then went to council. So it was. I just don't want to think about it. I haven't thought about it for months. But anyway, so that was that was one side. But the fun bit was then the lack of marketing, and we just use always. I think your wife Jackie went round Silverstone car park. And Michelle with flyers on
the windscreen.
No permissions.
Yeah, it was a big guerrilla, wasn't it?
It was that. And then John and I ended up at Channel 4, didn't we? Big breakfast.
Big breakfast.
We had to get up at stupid o'clock.
I think I'd just come back from the E39 M5 launch. We were somewhere in Docklands. We were in a hotel in Docklands, weren't we? Because it was at 2 lock keepers' cottages. That's where we were heading for.
Yeah.
And we both looked in the morning. Have you got a copy of the magazine?
I know, we both, such a faux pas.
Neither of us. We're going on the telly and we don't have a magazine. Car back.
But we'd lined up a Vantage, supercharged Vantage, Le Mans, and we were going to do a speed record with it, weren't we?
Yeah, allegedly,
Have you got round to doing that yet?
No, and I kept getting calls from the PR afterwards. When are we doing this speed record? I'm not sure.
Who were the guys that got us on that? It was a couple of brothers.
Russ and Image Wizard.
Yes.
Image Wizards.
Malkin. Steve and Russ Malkin.
Yeah, the Malkins.
Anyway, it was bonkers.
So Russ went on to do the long way round, long way down stuff with you and McGregor and Charlie Borman.
Yeah. But you actually got on the show. You were actually in the studio.
I was in the studio with Justin Bell. Yes, I had a badge. Yes.
Forget Justin Bell. Did you meet Denise Van Outen? That's what everyone wants to know, Harry. Heart emojis.
It's crazy environment because it's live.
It was very 90s, wasn't it? That show.
Yeah, and it's mad, and there's things going on around you, and you've got Harry here. And he says, "You got a new magazine?" Yeah, I haven't brought it with me. And all that sort of thing.
Sorry about that.
You want to go? And they had the Aston.
They call that whisper marketing these days, Harry, wouldn't they?
It was such a faux pas. It was ridiculous.
And then Johnny Vaughan turned up in a wig pretending to be Jeremy Clarkson with us
Yes.
with the cars on the
He ran
on the side of the
outside.
lot.
They all ran outside and did that.
It was an outside broadcast.
Yeah.
I said, do you think you're going to break the record? I said, no. Hopefully. Is this the best car you've ever driven? No. Too honest for the
And we're
telly.
taking Viper. I think Justin Bell was there because he had that Viper coupe, didn't he?
Oh, that's right, yeah,
That's
GTS.
why he come with that. And he could talk. We had a dragster there. And then on the other side of town, Alan Patterson, our publisher.
Yeah, I was there with Alan. At
were you doing that?
Yeah. Chris Evans' radio show.
You were
wasn't it? On
doorstepping.
Virgin,
Before you
Virgin,
get
wasn't it?
in.
When he did the
No,
breakfast.
it
Was
BBC,
Virgin Radio,
yeah.
wasn't it then? I think he just
It was,
left.
Was it? Oh, apologies.
Because
I
Golden
thought it was-
Square, he just left under all that Ferrari.
Oh,
'cause
sorry,
he left the
he had.
BBC
Sorry,
breakfast show, hadn't
That's it.
he? We were so busy cleaning the cars out the front.
Yeah.
He walked past us. Well, that's nice cars. Well, yeah, or whatever. Carried on. That's like shit. He had ginger hair. I think that was Chris Evans. So we both messed up really there. But he did mention us because it was a weird time. There were all sorts of people doing the same thing. He just would obviously get doorstepped every morning. There was a shampoo brand.
Yeah, that's right.
And something. He was like fighting his way through all these weird people doing stuff.
Trying to get free marketing.
But he definitely noticed the cars because he's total car nut, isn't he? But
and also, the nice thing is all the marketing worked because it sold really well. And I had a phone call distributor, and we had office copies. We had about 1,000 office copies because we thought, it's the first issue, we ought to have these. He says, I think we're going to need your office copies because we're selling out in a number of markets. So they nicked our 1,000 office copies.
I remember that happening actually.
And that meant, that's why it's a rare issue because it actually sold really well.
Yeah.
We didn't have any copies. And so it all worked out in the end.
And here we are,
Yeah, that's still going.
podcasting.
Yeah, who'd have
knew?
thought
Who'd have
that?
thought it?
So, talking of podcasts, Harry,
Yes.
you've now become Harry's Garage. That's your brand.
Yes.
And Harry's Garage is containing a number of cars which people love to follow. So we've got another question here saying, if you had to slim down the collection, which 2 cars would you keep? And while we're on the theme of your garage, what's the current lineup and what's the latest edition?
Gosh, so many. I have slimmed down a collection, can't you tell? Look
Well,
at
it is quite
There's hardly
echoey in here.
Yeah, there's hardly any in here now. It's just how many miles you do on the cars, and some are just so special to me, and the value just goes out the window. They're lower value cars. So weirdly, at that end is the little Lotus Elan because it's irreplaceable.
Yeah, you're always going to have that car, aren't you?
There's nothing like driving an Elan. I ride bikes as well. So to me, it's fine. It's safe. It's a car. Other people think it's so tiny, but I just hugely enjoy that one. And the other weird one I enjoy is the Rolls Royce. How can you enjoy that Rolls Royce? But until you drive a Shadow and realise that, speed bumps and everything just dismissed, just don't exist. You don't have this connect to the engine. You float around in this wonderful environment and everybody smiles at you.
And there's nothing else. It's not like you've got I've done that, so I'll have something similar. There's nothing like those cars, is there?
And it's white, so you can do a couple of weddings
I
at the
can
weekend
do that
as well.
bit of there's always that, a little bit of,
Harry's wedding.
Harry's
bit of
weddings.
cash
There
on
you
a
go. That's
Saturday.
the
You
third
can't
channel,
go wrong.
Harry.
And it's 10. Yeah, it's probably 10 grand. Well, it'll probably be less. I don't know. So that's usually Zagatos. I like seeing the shape in here. I couldn't really sell it. So I'm just a disaster when it comes to cars. And another car I did think I was selling, going to move into something, was actually my McLaren. And then
So that's your 650.
the 650S, and V Engineering look after it, and they've done all the geometry. They do a tweak to the front suspension, and then they can put all the geometry of a 675 LT on it. So
really?
It is unbelievable. I took it on track. It's astonishing. I've got same ride height. Anyway, long story short, there's no way I'm selling that because I just think they are stupid value. They're still about 120,000. It's a £300,000 car, and I drive 296s. I love Ferrari, and I must have another Ferrari. But I just can't get rid of the McLaren because I drive the Ferrari and I think, hang on a minute, I've got a car that's better.
Well,
than this. It's
even
carbon
at the
tub,
level 296s have dropped to, you'd still have to put another 40 grand towards it to get into
well,
a
that's
296, wouldn't you? Which you're not going to do.
There's not a chance because it's a better car.
Every time you get in a McLaren, the steering.
Well, there's a whole load of things. The clarity of the dash, the carbon, a whole load. It doesn't matter, and it's a foldy, whatever. I do sometimes look at 12-cylinder Ferraris and think I really like one of those. But I don't know, F12. They have a little few issues. I thought I'd like a 812.
We had a 550, didn't you? A long time ago, which you
I really
loved.
enjoyed. It was slightly too sensible. I'd have the Testarossa all day long over a 550. That's just me. But I do think 599s. I think everybody's missing a trick. They're chasing the V8 cars. I think those V12 normally aspirated will go down in history. To have an Enzo engined front engine Ferrari available at 70, 80,000, don't understand.
Yeah.
I do not understand that.
They've been at that level for quite a while, haven't they?
Just mad, you know. They're getting increasingly hard to do because it is a super special engine. And Dodici cylindry, I look at those, but I think they're a bit oddball. They're quite big.
I love them for that. It is quite an old school Ferrari in that sense, isn't it? I think they looked, when we had one on Car of the Year, that really lovely sherbet yellow metallic sort of colour. And honestly, even in the company of all the cars on Car of the Year, it was just like your jaw dropped when it drove in, even amongst Revuelto and Vanquish and all the other things. It's a stunning car.
And the odd thing is that starting off with the F12, and then that's where you've got to. Yeah. It's actually got easier to drive.
It's come back towards a more mellow, mellow character, hasn't it? More manageable.
But again, I think everybody just looks at the design and forgetting that is probably one of the world's best engines.
Yeah.
Full stop. That V12 rented at 9.5, and we all worship T50, T33.
That's sensational,
but that's millions, and Valkyrie and these other crazy cars. And then there's that. So that's the car I keep thinking about. A Ferrari V12. What would I get in the garage? I would like one of those. But then I want one of these. Would have to go, and then I go quiet and carry on as I am. So that's the dilemma of all car enthusiasts, though. And the McLaren has complicated it.
Well, I guess maybe you bought that thinking
I thought
maybe scratch the itch and then get rid of it again.
And then I've realised, they're very special cars.
So what about this brown thing?
Oh, this brown, the 928. Well, that's another itch. I saw it come up. I've always loved Pasha interior. I nearly, I like it so much. I did even think about doing the 930S and putting Pasha in that, and then I backed out because I thought it's just perfect as it is. And then I saw that for sale. Thought, that is a crazy statement. I've always sort of liked 928s, but never really explored. It's like the idea and love the shape. I thought I'd try it out, and I'm done. 1500. I've just done a video on it. They're a very interesting car, but they are absolutely not a 911, and they're sort of not a sports car, but they have all the qualities of a Porsche that we enjoy, the finesse, the engineering, and I say it's like if lots of people go mad for Mercedes SL, the R129 and things, but that's like half a ton lighter, and I'm just as good at GT, and I've been very surprised by it. But I'm never, you're never going to take it on a track day or something like that.
Bizarre to think they thought that was the future and it would replace the 911, isn't it? Now
I wish they did a car like that. I think it's so balanced. And I look at it and it's on 225 tyres, but it drives unbelievably. It has no vices. You can throw it at any sort of situation and whatever. And it just does.
Well, it's kind of the job they got Panamera to do, but because it's a platform share car, it's just this weird kind of ugly duckling thing that are brilliant to actually for big distances and when you want to go quickly, they go quickly. They're completely overlooked cars, aren't they? Because they still look a bit
odd,
weird.
Yeah.
And that still looks a bit weird, but it's cool weird, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's a cool weird.
And it's a bespoke,
it's very distinctive,
totally bespoke car.
Yeah. So I'm enjoying.
So that's the
latest. Yeah, that's the latest car. Yeah.
Do you remember some guy wrote to us on Performance Car, saying I've figured out Porsche's strategy for what's coming next.
Yeah.
So because for Christmas I got a 911 soap on a rope, and I've used it a bit, and it's turned into a 928.
Yeah, that's it. practical things. I don't know.
Right.
I think the only thing I'd say on the 98, I did buy a very, very good one, and I paid extra to have a good one, and I think that's quite an important thing to do with a 928.
Because I think a lot of them, because the values went so low,
yeah,
a lot of them weren't looked after, so you got quite a lot of work to do otherwise.
Yeah, but that one, had a lot of work.
So this is from Harry, I believe. I don't know whether you're asking yourself questions. I don't think
Harry.
You are. You're brilliant. You don't seem to own many modern cars, but are there any launched recently that have caught your interest?
Oh, gosh. Any ones I've enjoyed? Well, which ones have I enjoyed?
I mean, this is an interesting answer in itself, isn't it? Because not so long ago, there'd have been an instant list. Well, I drove that and I've seen this and this is cool and that's great.
I didn't. There's some cars I enjoy, but to actually, I'm going to have that instead of that. I've had some Astons recently. Well, I really enjoyed them, way more than I expected. I had the DB12S in recently. Thought, that's a very good car. I can't understand why these aren't more popular. Vanquish, enjoyed that. Revelto, it's this mad thing. Do I sell the Countach and pocket a load of cash and rock around in a Revelto? So I'm new cars. The one I think for this driver, how I enjoy my cars and the driver, and I enjoy value. I just can't see any of the latest things that interest me. But the resto mod area is quite an interesting one. The Theon, or that Bizzarini I drove, God, it was just wonderful.
Yeah.
And they're sort of tempted. Do you simplify your life and just go down to one really special car? I don't know. The ones I churn tend to be the ones that is the family motor. So the Range Rover Sports, you had a string of those. Now I've got that.
Well, you like your Trofeo.
I have completely
Levante,
fallen in love for that. The value of the engine, the enjoyment. Mrs. M really enjoys driving it as well. It's special. So
it's a very you car. That if you're going to have a car of that ilk, then that is you on a stick.
It is really, and I've had Maserati before, and it's like a weird club. It's a very enthusiastic club once you've joined it. You go to the dealers, and it's you used to go to Land Rover or Jag Land Rover dealers, and it's corporate and open and big, or Porsche. Maserati dealers isn't like that. They have these coffee mornings, and it's all these they're just, I think, interesting people own Maseratis, and it's a very nice club to be in, and so I'm hugely enjoying that. So that's the one I tend to churn, but I have a horrible feeling
that's going to stick around as well.
It might stick around as well. So I'm not very good at new cars.
There is a very large new BMW in the corner over there.
Yes.
So this kind of leads into this question, actually. So thoughts on the new electric BMW M3, but perhaps your time with the M5 Touring might inform what you possibly expect from that car?
I think, the battery bits, and perhaps I should have mentioned that thing. One thing I will not do in this garage is own anything with a battery. I just think they're really good at the fact I would say that for the collector cars. I just would not do it because I never think about selling the collector cars. I'm not one who looks at value and the increase of value. I own it because that's what I want to own, and I want to drive it and enjoy it. And as long as I continue to enjoy it, it just stays in the garage. M5, that is a potential family wagon situation, and that's a completely different scenario. And I think they offer quite a lot of advantages, that they have made the cars running costs and things are significantly less. They add intrigue. What I like about that M5 Touring, you have no real idea it's electrified because it actually goes through the gears. You set off, and you think the engine is running, and it goes through gears, and it's actually on electric, and then the engine will kick in. But I find it enjoyable on electric, just tooling around, just doing normal miles, and then I think, how can I set M5 with 770 horsepower, average over 30 mpg, and if I was in a business and owning that car, it is massively more affordable than owning a electric or hybrid type car. And I think they get I think when looking at the science of them in too much detail, the actual ownership experience is really quite interesting. I think where they fall down is, am I actually going to add an M5 Touring of that generation in here? And just no.
No,
I'd have the M5 CS, no
but
problem at all.
You could not get two more. I mean, they're kind
completely
of
different
successive
products.
generations, aren't they? But I struggle with the hybrid M5 for all sorts of reasons. Partly for the same reasons I struggle with a lot of general M product with ridiculous amounts of configurability on so many aspects of the car, and I just itch because it's the steering could be this, or the powertrain could be that, or the brake regen could be that, and you're forever fiddling around, and I hate that. I sort of think the M5 would be a much nicer car if it wasn't an M car, and it didn't have to pack quite such a punch, and it was just a luxurious, much more mature car. It would be a nicer thing to be with all the time.
I would agree with that. I think I get annoyed that it's called an M5. The actual product I really quite enjoy. Actually, that should have an Alpina badge on it. That is what, if that
soften
was Alpina,
it off a little bit.
Soften it off, keep the hybrid. That's an Alpina Touring, and that's pretty amazing. The M5, I wish they'd kept with a very special engine, because it had a motorsport connection, and that has no motorsport connection.
No, it's
turned into something else. But I still admire M, because they do M2, and that's a proper hooligan car. But I think BMW would also like to do the cars we wish, but they simply cannot do it.
I think the opportunity for there's brilliant people in those people that are left in the big sort of high performance brands. They're absolute geniuses, aren't they? But they have such a limited opportunity to express their talent and their knowledge, which is why everything gets loaded into these largely ridiculous track-only things, which seems such a waste to me, because those sorts of people should be making brilliant road cars, shouldn't they?
Yeah.
But they're just not, like you say, they're not allowed to do those things.
I did that Bizzarini out in Italy, Restamod.
Well, that's an interesting one, isn't it? Because that's like a tool room.
Yeah, but who did the setup? Chris Porritt.
Yeah.
Who we know from Aston. Yeah. And then he went to Tesla.
And he went to Rimac as well.
Rimac. And he's rejoicing because he's doing his pure love in these resto mods, and he says, I can't believe I'm doing this and engineering this.
That's why there's so many resto mod companies, aren't there? Or I think a lot of them are just glossy renders on Instagram, but the ones that are actually doing good things, they're filling the void vacated by the sort of series production 80s type supercars,
and I think if you come to Evo in 10 years' time, it will be full of these sort of vehicles, if we're still allowed. Goodwood, I heard they had this the Resto Mod paddock. They didn't like to call it. They called it something else. Can't remember what it called it. But they said that we could have had 31 iterations of 911 in that paddock. That's the most popular car at the moment. It's staggering. But I think the engineers are coming out to do that sort of car now.
I think, I mean, we're off on a slightly... it's the beauty of these Q&As, isn't it? Resto mods generally. But I think there's some people do it really well and some people do it really badly, don't they? But they've all been given permission to charge X amount and upwards, because Singer kind of paved the way, didn't they? And Singer do things in a certain way, and everyone else, not everyone else, but others suggest they're at that level and they're not, but their pricing would suggest they are. I think
I think that's the dilemma. I find them really hard. How many do I actually get in? Is this so niche? Does anybody actually interested in this car?
And I think the 911 is the most popular for a reason, isn't it? It's the most numerous sports car. The sort of plug and play nature of the car, it's quite easy to backdate or forward date stuff using largely factory or aftermarket stuff. You don't have to go to the lengths that Singer do to completely kind of reimagine them. But everything else, when there's a Diablo or something, you kind of think I think they maybe should give that some dignity and leave it alone. But that's another podcast topic, isn't it? Let's have another dig in.
Oh dear!
I know you've probably got some drilling. You wouldn't be drilling because the ground's too hard.
I've got some editing to do, actually.
Oh, have you?
I've got editing to do for Sunday's
your art
video.
car thing.
No, that's the following Sunday. Yeah.
Right.
And there's a farm video actually. Yeah.
Well, we've just answered one of these. Harry, have you tried the new Vantage S or DB12S? You just said about DB12S, didn't you?
Yeah. I think the DBS, just going back to DB12S, what struck me is the Vanquish is actually another £120,000 more, and because Vantage has come up and it's only about 25,
well, they're
30
680
less.
horsepower, 700 horsepower, aren't they, for the V8 cars? I think the delta between Vanquish and even though it's V12 and crazy, cartoonish, brilliant looking thing, it's a big deep breath, isn't it?
It is for that to step up to that, and it was such a good looking car. When I had it here, it was in a green colour. It didn't quite have the voice that we know of Aston's, but there's a new, drive-by noise stipulation this year. They can't make those growly V12s.
And the noise is bundled in tyres and exhaust, isn't it? So they can kind of, you can have a slightly louder exhaust, but then they have to compromise even more on the tyre. And
I think we're thinking that a T50 solo around Goodwood and howling this crazy V12 revving to whatever it does, 12.5 is normal, but it's only allowed to do that because it's tiny volume.
Yeah, it doesn't comply. It's not playing by the same rules, is it?
No. So I think this is that rules are getting more and more separated as time goes on. I can't get over like Singer are still based on a 964, so they only have to meet 964 emission rules.
Yeah.
And they can sell everywhere in California.
It's like what you said about the 12 cylinder as well, that fantastic engine.
Yeah.
You don't get to hear as much of it these days as you used to.
No, but there are good exhausts
you can
coming
just
from
stick
12 cylinder.
That's the ridiculous thing, isn't it? The manufacturers will spend years trying to make the car sound remotely like a combustion engine car, and it's still whisper quiet, and then they know as soon as it goes out the door, someone's going to put a honking exhaust on it and make a nonsense of it all.
I think they could make more of induction noise and go that route personally, and keep away from exhaust. Anyway, you've got another question.
I think there's lots more questions, but maybe we'll restrict us. Well, you didn't answer the thoughts on the electric M3, did you? What are your expectations?
Oh, sorry. The pure. I remain unconvinced that a pure electric sports car works. Maybe. BMW will show me that it doesn't, but it's not all about speed, and it's going to have speed and it's going to have adjustability because they can adjust each corners, but you also know what it's going to weigh, and I don't know if I'm just an old fossil, but I haven't even booked any of the pure electric, the Alpine, and I'm just not convinced that is the right route.
I think
to go down.
They can be objectively successful, can't they? Because they achieve this, they achieve that, and they even if you drive something and it drives well, you're still aware of the weight, and subjectively, we're curious because it's our job to be curious, isn't it? And you want to understand what these things are going to be like. But it's hard to imagine feeling like you really want to get back into it again at a later date, and maybe that's the test, the first one you drive, that you think actually I'd really quite like to.
I think that's the thing is that it filters down from supercars. Electric supercars don't exist, because that's not what people buy them for. And I think down at the sports car level, Porsche level, that's still people want something that's worth driving, something that gives feedback and
something that's different from their everyday car.
Everyday electric.
But there will be some people buying, but I can't see it volume, and maybe they're in markets that's what they buy. I had a visit from a real car enthusiast from Thailand, and they were saying that they could buy a Ferrari 296 cheaper than a GT3 because it's a hybrid. And the taxation laws in their country meant the GT3 was really expensive because it's not hybrid. And I think, hang on a minute. So there are these rules around the world that we don't have to deal with. We're just in little old UK.
Well, the same happened with the M5 in the corner there.
Yeah.
Went from the last generation to this one, and the price went down because it's taxed differently.
Right.
So
It's so hard for manufacturers to know, but I just don't think an electric sports car is a direction to go in. So M3, I will get one in, but they're going to do M2. I'm just going to buy an M2 all day long.
So this is quite a good question to end on, actually, but it leads from what we've just been talking about. You're clearly keen on Jaguars. So would you be tempted by the new Jaguar GT? Now that's not a sports car, is it? It's it's a high performance car, but it's pitched very much as a
Type 01.
Rolls Royce shadow, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. It's got handling. I mean, I've had the Porsche Taycan, Gran Turismo. I looked at those. Packaging was awful on them. And the history says, as an ownership proposition, I'm going to be seeing depreciation on this. There's always another one going to be coming out.
But have you been close to this Jag?
I went to the very early launch. I've had opportunities to drive it, and I've had diary clashes, but I haven't really been energetic in having a go. I'm just going to wait until it arrives. But I think an expensive electric car just isn't what the market wants today. I did actually enjoy the Rolls-Royce Spectre.
Well, I was going to say,
really enjoyed that.
It kind of feels like it's an expensive Jaguar, but it feels like they've had to know their place and not outprice a Range Rover. But actually, if they'd thrown the kitchen sink at it, it's more of a Spectre type car than a Taycan type car.
But we all have different requirements. I think that the electric range needs to be 500 plus, and they're blurt on, it's fast charging, because it's an inconvenience, more of an inconvenience than filling a fossil fueled car. I think they need better range than a fossil fueled car, to get me to go over the line. Because
you actually need a proper brake when you do stop to charge it.
And I just think the technology is not ready yet for these very expensive cars.
What about a really cheap, like a J-Coup or something? You had a J-Coup, didn't you?
I was massively impressed with it, and I will champion a J-Coup more than I will these super expensive electric car. I've got the Fiat Grand Panda coming in. That fascinates me. The Twingo, I had the Renault 5 in. Yeah. That was fantastic. But that's a completely different level.
That's because it's fit for purpose.
It's fit for purpose, absolutely, John. Nail on head. That is what I want, and it's the convenience of it. I've got I've got an electric ride on mower. I've no way I'd go back to petrol on it because it is so perfect. You're mowing in silence. You can do all the acres, plug it in, and use it the next week, and it's just heaven. And we have electric tools now, and you just can't imagine going back. Or LED workshop lights, all sorts of things of use of electric that work so well. But that level, I think
it misses the point, doesn't it? It totally misses the point of why you have a Ferrari or a Lamborghini it's not.
But the reason it works in the Spectre, I would suggest, is because the car's already very heavy. And absolute silence and refinement is what you want.
It added to the characteristics of a Rolls Royce.
Well, it's what they've been striving to do with internal combustion for 100 years, isn't it? And haven't quite managed to match an electric powertrain. No. So it should be perfect. But then I think people had this conversation with someone about 296s always seem to be they're at this price when they're new and spec'd, and then they're all down here when they're used. But it's almost like the uncertainty around the batteries, and it's a bit like F40s used to be. Well, we've got to change the bag tanks after this, but it's not as simple as that, is it? It's Christ, you might need to rip all of this out. Or
you've got built-in obsolescence from the battery, and then Ferrari have almost made it worse by highlighting it because they do a battery warranty, and you pay, I think it's 15,000 a year, and we will be replacing the battery between 8 and 10 years if you have this warranty. You think, hang on a minute, I paid 15 plus times 8. This is, on top of because you get 4 years free anyway.
Yeah, they've got service plans and warranty plans, haven't they?
But highlighted that
they clearly know this
expensive component. Why am I going to pay up front for it? So that instantly puts me off buying the car. Doesn't it reassure me? He says, I'll just do that because it's such an expensive warranty. Yeah. So I'll just go for simple and have my McLaren, thanks.
Yeah.
One last question, Harry. You may or may not have seen it. Have you seen the Luce?
Yes, I have. I've seen that, and it's just not a Ferrari. It's it has no. Ferraris should be poster material. That is not a poster material in any way. Whether it's one of those things they are forced to do it because they're over 10,000 volume, they're in EU, and whether it's just going to be a one of those sort of Porsche Cayenne moments. Well, carry on with 911s, but I think they've had a rude awakening, and it's very interesting.
It's so weird, isn't it? I know I'm overly cynical, and I probably sound like I'll put my tinfoil hat on now, but it just feels like Ferrari did everything they possibly could to distance themselves from that project, because they got Johnny Ive and Mark Newson to design it and made a thing of that, because that's premium. You can charge a premium for their design work in other areas, and then it just seems like it's it's given them permission to charge a remarkable amount of money for that car, but actually it's not. It's we had to do that. If it works, fine. If it doesn't, they just quietly move on from it.
It's arm's length, isn't it?
Yeah.
But then in the middle, you've got people like Rafa, the vehicle attributes dynamics guy, who is an absolutely golden guy, isn't he? He's brilliant and super passionate about, obviously, Ferraris, but he's got an Impreza, like a 22B type Impreza. He's a proper car guy. So the way they apply technology to their combustion cars and their hybrid cars is absolutely right at the cutting edge, isn't it?
Brilliant.
So of all the cars, this is the one that I'm most interested to drive, because it's the ultimate supercar brand, and it's been developed by these guys. This is the litmus test, isn't it? If these guys can't actually build an electric car that you feel you really want to be with, then what chance has anyone else got?
But I think where they're going to take it, you have to drive it so hard to enjoy that.
No one's ever going to do
that. The only guys who are going to do it are you guys, Rafa. But in real world, do you actually want to own it? And I'm not sure I do want.
Well, maybe it just does the wafty thing, and it's got all the beautiful interior, and it's just a load of latent performance that you never touch.
And it's a show-off badge.
It is a show-off badge, but then I don't like that thing in that centre screen thing of a handle. I just think it has no place.
It's
in
out of a
supermarket.
It's like when you pay and put your PIN number in.
And go and pay. Self-serving kiosk.
Maybe we're just not sophisticated enough to understand.
I don't think it's a car for us. No. We wouldn't be on the cover of Evo. If that was our choice of the new Ferrari in the launch issue, that would have been an interesting
Imagine
dilemma.
that, if that was the...
What would we have done then? Well, we wouldn't have been where we are now.
Well, that's...
And on that bombshell,
while our Ferrari, all bridges to Maranello were burning.
I know.
That sounds like a good point to end the podcast. Harry, pleasure as ever. John, pleasure as ever.
Thank you, Harry.
Thanks for sending your questions in. We'll see you on the next one.